You know, this worked perfectly in practice. Now that we're here, it's like, how do we log in?
All right, I'm jumping off and letting you wild people have control.
All right. So we
Hello,
have
everybody.
Hi. We are having so much fun.
Do roll call.
Okay.
All right. So Danielle had some questions for us all to do interviews.
We have notes.
All right.
Okay, well, first tell me where you're all from. Introduce.
Mute the TV because
How do I mute the TV?
Put the TV remote.
She has it.
Has it. We're watching ourselves on the watch party.
So cool. All right. Go ahead, you start. Where are you from?
Wake Forest, North Carolina. We came 4.5 hours.
Woo!
4.5 hours.
Tell us who you are.
Oh, sorry. Sherry Britt.
Sherry Britt. Holly, who are you?
I'm Holly Suddeth, owner of the Colossal Crab Tent. Y'all make all that noise. I've got my little crabbers over here making all kinds of noise, my cheering section. I have the Colossal Crab Tent, and I do claws in the classroom.
Woo! Can they see you? They can see you.
I don't know.
They can
I
see
see
you.
you.
Yeah, they can see you.
There you go.
They can't see.
The kids are gonna have to come over here.
Do you want to be in? Come here.
Come over here.
I can do it.
You want to sit here?
All right, who are you?
I'm Jordan Cavanis. I support Holly.
And she's making the best cupcakes.
I was gonna say I make the shirts and the cupcakes.
Yes. We will show you the cupcakes in a moment. They're amazing.
Hey,
What's
Rob,
amazing?
come on over
Okay.
here.
Sherry! Come here, Sherry.
Who are you?
We got more rebels. We're
How are
live.
you?
Tell us who you are and where did you come from?
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't have to. Oh, how about you, Rob?
Hi, I'm Sherry. I'm from Virginia Beach.
Woo!
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Go ahead, Pink Crab.
I'm Rob. I'm from here.
I'm Danielle Heinerman. I came from Ohio, about a 9-hour drive.
9 hours.
But it was fun. It was
Is
fun.
that
Yeah.
your camper out front?
Yeah.
No, that's her camper.
Oh, it's nice.
I'm over there in the guest room. Hello, come on in, say hi if you feel like it. All right, so question. How did you get into crabs? Why in the world did you choose hermit crabs?
all right. Say
There we
again so we
go.
can hear you.
So why did you get into hermit crabs? Why crabbies and when? Tell us your beginning story.
That's what
You
we're
want me to
asking
start?
you. You.
Okay. I'm moderating the questions. Let's see. So when I was a kid, of course, I had hermit crabs. And I loved them, but I didn't know anything about care, which we'll get to in a later story with the questions. But I kind of took a bit of a break in my life trying to make other people happy that couldn't possibly be happy. And so when I finally got myself back together and did a lot more self-care and got my life back together, my new husband during Christmas gave me a crab-a-tat and did all this research on the internet and printed all these sheets of paper and said, you ought to get hermit crabs.
What a nice
And and I didn't do much for myself back then at all because it was all about other people. And that was what my purpose in life was, is to make everybody else happy. So we lost video.
Oh no, we lost something.
We lost something. I don't know if they can hear. Hopefully they can hear us.
Oh, no.
They can. Okay, good.
Okay.
I'll video.
Did
There
it?
we go.
You're back.
Hey, we're back. Okay, so I started reading all the pages that he popped together, and I realized that everything I did as a kid was almost completely wrong. And I think it freaked out for a while, so even then I didn't get one. And then at a Carney festival, my son told me I had to get a crab, which is the best place to get a crab, right? Carney's. So I named him Sheldon because he wasn't happy with any of his painted shells, and he kept switching while we were there. And so they gave me extra painted shells to take home with me, which I thought was this great bonus. So, of course, I got hooked into this group after that, and it just kind of spread like wildfire. So now I've got this huge obsession in my house, and there's tons of crabby stuff everywhere. And I've got like 3 tanks, 2 in our bedroom, and they clank at night, and he's such a good sport about it.
Clank, clank. All right, Rose. How did you? Okay, can you show us your shirt?
Yeah.
How is it stopping?
It stopped again. There we go.
Stand up.
Hang on, no, Rose. Wow. Is it back on?
Yeah, it's good. You're
Okay.
good.
All right. So what does that say? Cello.
Hello. Okay.
Blair, you came from where?
Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
And how did you get here? Because you know.
Now we're gonna put Mr. Pie in the face.
You spoiled our surprise. Now everyone knows who's getting a pie in their face.
Oh, how did I get here? Car. I got here.
That's a good way.
All right. Sherry.
Okay.
We got 2 Sherrys. Hi, Sherrys.
Hi, Brett.
Sherry, how did you get into hermit crabs?
Well, we had a dog, had grandkids that were not into getting taken care of much anymore. So I wanted something that I could care for. I looked at axolotls. I didn't want fish.
It's out again.
Oh, it's
What in the world?
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, I didn't
Crab
want
hat.
fish.
They love your crab hat.
It's the same one as Stacy's. Anyway, I looked at different critters, and it just popped in my head. How about hermit crabs? So I started with Crab Central Station. I
Nice.
researched for 2 weeks before I ever got a crab, and I did adopt mine from a rescue in Raleigh. And I probably watched all their videos, which they've got like 50 videos. And then I found Lyco, so I researched on there and asked so many questions. And then I decided to research where I can find one. And I found an adoption in Raleigh. And I went over there, they were all molting except for 2. And she said, well, they don't fight. So I got those 2. And that's how I got started in hermit crabs. And
All
I love it with
right.
a passion.
Woohoo! Other Sherry. We have 2 Sherrys.
Hi. About 5-6 years ago, we were up in New Jersey visiting family, and we were on the boardwalk, and my daughter wanted a hermit crab. And of course, not knowing anything, we brought it home to Virginia, and I was the one that ended up taking care of it.
Uh-huh.
And I thought at some point maybe it was sick or whatever because it wasn't moving a lot. It was still in the little critter thing that they gave me. And this was like 6 months.
In the critter thing?
Yes, I didn't know. And I went on Facebook to find a hermit crab group. And I did. And I quickly learned that they're not supposed to live like that.
Yeah.
And now you're completely reformed and have what size tank?
I have a 55-gallon with 6 crabs, which you helped me move graciously with your hubby, which was no small task, but they're happy in their new home.
They're
and-
all set up in the new apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you
Nice.
need to let me say something about mine.
And- oh, what are you?
Says
What is
asking
it?
questions is the best way to learn.
Yep.
That's
And
right.
I just need to tell you, I had 2 hermit crabs in a 20-gallon tank. So I started with that. Then I put a topper on it. Then I met Holly at CrabCon, and one of my poor little crabbies had passed. So I asked Holly, I need a crab. Can you please give me one? She said, how about if I give you 3 crabs in a 40-gallon tank? I was like, done.
Thanks a lot.
And Rob even delivered it to our house, which took the poor guy forever to get there, but I was forever grateful. So now I'm looking for a bigger tank because you can't have too many crabbies.
Never. And I can supply your extra crabs because I do foster. So This is the king crab himself, my husband, Rob, who delivered the crabs to Mr. Harlan's house. Hi, Harlan. How do you like having crabs?
Oh, it's the most wonderful thing.
Oh, look at that. Good answer. Good answer. All right. So, Rob, how long have you had crabs?
I don't know. It's too long. I just can't seem to get rid of them.
Hold on, I gotta hold it for you.
Oh, what? Oh, you're holding it for me? Oh.
You gotta talk
Oh,
now.
I've got to talk. Okay, what am I telling? What's my story?
The same question that everybody else did, Holly.
Why crabs? Because I am stupid. We have tons of dogs. We did pet sitting, lots and lots of dogs. We needed something that wasn't going to upset the dogs, wasn't going to make a lot of noise, not a lot of smells. So when you go to the pet store and look at stuff, we didn't want to feed pets to our pets, so no reptiles. And so then we're like, what are we going to get? Oh, a hermit crab. But I have a background in dog rescue, so I'm like, let me research a little bit. And that's when I found all of Crab Central Station's videos and how terrible the pet trade is. And at that point, I knew, one, this is just too much. I don't want to do all this care. This is insanity for a hermit crab. Two, now I can't not get them because look how poorly they're treated. They're the complete underdogs of the pet world. This is what I have to do now. So I'm frozen on the video. There we go. So then I had to get into hermit crabs, and now I'm the crazy Chesapeake hermit crab lady that I'm in all the mom groups, all the freebie groups, all the giveaway groups, all the rehome groups, and we have tons and tons of hermit crabs we have rehabbed, and they live in a 7-foot enclosure in our crab room. And we're hosting a watch party! We invited the entire internet to our house. Because that's what you do when you have hermit crabs. That's right. So here's some of our food made by Jordan. Smile, Jordan. Jordan, do you have hermit crabs?
No, I just have a lot of cats.
You're involved in cats. So you wore the shirt with the level of crazy, which clearly shows the hermit crabs are crazier than the cats. So good call, good call.
I would go with that.
Oh, Blair.
Blair, you had something, Blair?
Y'all, everybody go subscribe to the Colossal Crabbiton. If y'all want to see crabs, go watch her videos.
Oh, yes. That's my TikTok is the Colossal Crabbiton with my gym bros on their wheels all the time. So what you're missing out on, everybody, is Pinchy Punch. Woo! And you can spike it if you would like. We have banana bread. Look at these cupcakes. Are these not amazing? It is an actual hermit crab on a beach. If they taste half as good as they look, they'll be great. We've got a full taco bar with a taco shell shop. What taco bar is not complete without a taco shell shop? The refried beaches instead of refried beans. Ha ha ha. So cute. Isn't that? And then over here we have some condiments, also known as toppers. So we'll eat here in a few and cut out. But we have one more thing. Blair, would you like to hold the camera while
Oh, you gotta tell
the
the story.
king crab? Oh, here's the story. Okay. Come hold the camera for this one because I'm let Jordan hold the camera. You go get the pie pan. So my wonderful, delightful husband. He's very supportive. Did I mention the 7-foot enclosure and a crab room in our house? Very supportive. However, when I said that I was going to start a TikTok for the hermit crabs, in an uncharacteristic moment, this man said, I bet you wouldn't even get 100 people. And I said, what? And he's like, yeah, if you could get that, you could, I don't know, put a pie in my face.
Oh, boy.
And I said, challenge accepted.
How many do you have?
We are over 3,000 now.
3,000 what?
Followers
3,000,
on
yeah.
the Colossal Crabbiton TikTok. Does Blair know where my pie is?
Oh yeah, we're ready for the pie.
I gotta use the bathroom.
All right,
I'll be
go,
back.
go get your go get your pie pan. Go get your pie. He's such a good sport. He went and bought his own pie pan, you guys. Because once we started getting followers on the TikTok, he was like, wow, this is great. I love that people love this. Keep posting videos. You're doing great. Here you go. Come on, man. They're waiting. They're waiting for this pie. So,
All right, let me.
We're just in a
okay. So originally we were gonna do key lime, and if he'd made me mad that morning, I wasn't gonna unfreeze it.
Do you want to take your glasses off, Rob?
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
A pie.
We couldn't find it. That's not nearly enough.
Good sport, Rob. Is that good?
Yeah, Mercy. I knew you'd hit the 100, but I didn't know it'd be that quick. So.
Thought you had a little while longer.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Hey, I didn't stick much. Want to get another one?
Now you have to kiss him.
Go crabs.
Come to a watch party. It's fun, guys. Host your own. Next year will be in person, but the following year's virtual. Start thinking who's going to invite a group over. This is fun.
Who's the next to
Who
get the
wants
pie
some?
in the face?
Come here, little. Come on, Blair. Blair's ready. Blair, ready? Here's our Krabby. He can get some pie. There we go. Woo! All right. Thanks for joining.
Do we
Did
have
you
more questions while you get cleaned up?
Let's
We
do
can ask
it.
some questions.
Okay. You guys
All right,
interview.
perfect.
We have a camera person who's not a crabber. That needs to
So, let's go to, we'll start with you. What main advice would you give new crabbers?
Research before you even get them. Don't get a crab and don't buy them.
Don't buy.
Lycos, is it Lycos that has an adoption site?
Uh-huh.
And so adopt, do not shop, and research everything. Have your tank completely set up, humidity, heat, everything you need ready to go before you put them in. Unless you get some that are sick and then you have to do PPDS, and you can research that on Lycos.
Very good.
LHCOS.
Hello. I would say give yourself some grace. I mean, I had some missteps and I had some flooding in one tank, and every oops is an ability to do more research and improve and get better. There's several times I thought maybe I just wasn't cut out for this, but there's something so beautiful in getting it there and seeing them thrive and, believing in yourself. So it's really good for your inner soul. So give yourself a little grace. How about over there? Do you have any advice for new crabbers?
Yeah, get a wife to take care of them.
How about you, Rob? Any advice?
Any advice for new crabbers?
Yes.
Yeah, just go to the the various websites, the Lycos, and make sure you read up before you even get committed, because it is a lot of work, and
Expense.
make sure you have the appropriate space and substrate, and know the food they need. So it is a lot of work. Make sure you do your research before you even get into it.
So Holly, do you want to show them real quick your tent or describe your tent?
Ooh, yeah, we could go look at it. Keep it up because my house is a mess on the way to the tent. We've had all this company, but yeah, we can get a quick peek at it. The room's a wreck, but come on, why not?
I'm going to keep an eye on your feed and make sure you still have it.
Okay. We're leaving the razzle dazzle room. We're trekking through my messy house into the crab room, formerly known as a formal living room. Please excuse the messes. This is the colossal crab tent. It is 7 glorious feet by 5 feet tall. It has all of my lovely crab decor Here you will see one of my prized possessions, my stuffed crab signed by Mary Akers herself. Oh yeah. The crabs are up today, just a few of them. Well, maybe not. Anybody up today? Then we have my queen crab throne, my mess of a 55s, my intake. We just had a couple new intakes come in the other day in a teeny tiny enclosure.
He's up on his,
Then we have Tiny's tank over here in my food container bin. Oh, somebody's on the treadmill. Oh, here's Chip, you guys. Chip's out. Hi, Chip. Chip is famous. Chip is the one who was on the wheel with the pedometer, but now he's tipped his basket and just does a upward treadmill. He likes to like hill climb now, I guess. There's his pedometer wheel. And one more quick peek at that. Then we're gonna head back out to the party because that's where the party is, you guys. The party. Party, party, party.
They're back.
You're doing the crab dance?
Yeah, let's show us your best crab scuttle dance.
All right, we have some crab scuttlers. You got to move over here and view them because they're scuttling from here to there. Scuttle up. Woo! Scuttle, 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 scuttle.
Suzanne says hi, Holly.
Hey, Suzanne, how are you?
Very good.
Little crabbies, good job.
So,
What else do you have for us,
let's
Danielle?
ask what does your family really feel about your hermit crab obsession?
Girls, what do you think? What do you feel about the hermit crabs?
I think it's insane.
She said, I think it's insane. How about you, Opal? Any words of wisdom for children who have hermit crabs? No. Just be tiny and cute and knock stuff over. Okay.
I know for me, when my kids are really mad at me and they're 19 and 21, almost 19 and 21, I know they're really mad at me when they say, and why hermit crabs? Why in the world a crab? Then you know they're mad. Danny once asked me to count how many hermit crab type stuff I had in my house. I don't think that's possible.
No.
How about you?
What was the question?
What does your family really think about your crab obsession?
Harlan is very tolerant. That's about that. And the grandkids love them, especially the younger ones. I had a cousin come down from Canada. She was horrified by them at first. But by the time she left, they were quite fond of them. So I can't really tell you. Everybody's tolerant, but I don't know how much anybody loves them.
Some people, my husband first thought they were like spiders, but now they're in our bedroom when we sleep, so he's definitely tolerant.
My husband is very tolerant. He let me put in a 7-foot jungle and put a pie in his face. So, and invite strangers from the internet.
I love it.
How about
All
you,
right.
Sherry?
Next question. Who is your favorite crab and why? Holly.
Me first. Chip. I just showed you guys Chip. He's on his wheel. So Chip came to me. It was really fun. Chip came to me through the Lycos adoption program. I had just started doing some different fostering and I had just got the 10 up. And so I only had like 2 crabs in it. Probably like 7 or 8, but you know what I mean? Like just a few crabs. And his owner was having to move out of their home into an RV and she brought me her 3 crabs and she was crying, having to get rid of them. And I was like, oh, let's pray about this. And so they had some health issues. And so we stood in the living room and prayed and cried and hugged when I got Chip. And then Chip is the one who uses the pedometer wheel. If you missed Dr. Tudge, you missed me getting shouted out by Mary Akers that my crab Chip runs on the wheel with the pedometer. And now he's taken to a homemade treadmill. I don't understand. He won't use his wheel. Whatever. But yeah, he's my favorite crab.
About you?
My favorite crab is George. He's the one that's the most active. He's the biggest one. He's the first one I got. He's very personable. He's in the tank all day long. I can watch him whenever I want to. He's getting more acceptive of me coming up to the tank. I've only had him a year and a half. So, yeah, but he's my favorite because he's got the most personality.
I would say if I were to get excited about a crab, if I see a baby in my office tank upstairs, I go nuts. Because they, you know, I'm usually only there during the day, so it's kind of hard for me to actually see them. But when I see one, I go crazy. And they're so darn cute.
And by babies, that is captive bred babies.
Captive
you got?
bred babies, yes.
Awesome.
Mary Akers. Woo, Mary. Oh, the Cena Bina raffle is happening now. If you're a VIP, you'll need. Okay, so we're gonna take a break, and we'll be back after the raffle.
We're gonna go eat.
We're gonna Bye. Oh, we're back. It's 12:35 somewhere.
Well, there was good conversations happening.
Yes, I missed that.
So Harlan, Jerry's husband, just asked, did the souvenir shops paint the shells? And I said, no, they take them in a natural shell, crack it off, throw them in a bin of the naked crab in a bin of painted shells, and you have to pick a shell or die because your abdomen has to stay protected. So that's how they come painted in the painted shells.
So who paints the shells first?
Probably a sweatshop somewhere. Small children being paid a few dollars a day.
Few dollars? Dang, they're rich.
Some of these are stickers and some of them are hand painted. Some of them have clay additives. This crab, as big as this shell is, the crab still did not fit in here. He was still bigger than this shell. And he was in pretty much a fish bowl. A fish bowl would be giving them more space. It was a little bit bigger than this wire cage. And there was 3 of them. There was tiger. Oh, here he is. Penguin. And
They were big.
yeah. And the other one was in a smaller shell, like that size kind of. But still, there was 3 of them in this with a tiny bowl for a little bit of water, a little moldy sponge.
So does the paint adversely affect the crab?
Well, so the paint on the shell itself, typically it is a non-toxic paint as far as for soaking into them.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, this guy had modified his shell, so he chipped it off. He probably ate those paint chips. And even a non-toxic paint, if you're eating it, it becomes toxic. So that is the problem, is the modification of the shell. And then there is some chemical leaching through the shell to the crab, which is why painted shells are horrific. And this,
I mean, look, dump that.
Not,
Just
not
dump.
to mention the container, right, that they give.
yeah, they give you the,
Like, this is how many. Those were all.
yeah.
Those are all ones people have gotten from beach shops and.
And did you adopt all these?
Yes, every one of these is a rescue we took in who changed their shell. That's why this shell isn't in there, is because this shell was an extra shell that came, because every one of these had a crab in it when it arrived here. Like, I mean, look at some of this ridiculousness. Like,
Oh my gosh.
like who? Yes, literal googly eyes.
Oh.
Uh-oh, we're out of video.
But I'm eating a painted shell for lunch.
Well, you'll get a little toxicity. And like this one has little mirrors on it. Like, I mean,
In case other crabs wanted to look at themselves.
right, make sure the other crabs.
How else are they supposed to do their hair?
It's appealing to the tourists that the little kids are like, oh, that looks cool.
Something shiny.
Yep.
Well, that's how they did that in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
The one got an extra bling bling shell,
Oh
and
yeah.
the girl wanted it, and so then they made their great escape and scurried away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Larissa Meeks, I think it was her that did the talk last year about hermit crab marketing through the years. And she even said they specifically market them to children. Like what?
Of course.
Right.
It has a literal, my kids do crafts. And so my kids have made
True.
little pipe cleaner hermit crabs to go in some of the shells. But like what?
A dolphin.
A dolphin, like a literal
Looks like a shark.
coming out of your
Oh,
shell.
that gives me a song I can
They
sing.
get creative. That's
Ooh,
for
sing your
sure.
song. What song is that?
Baby shark.
Oh, the baby shark.
It's a dolphin, but it's close. Anything but baby shark.
Do the crabs what?
the crabs show a preference for painted or natural?
Natural.
They will leave the painted shells as soon as you give them an option for a natural shell.
I only have about 3 who didn't immediately change their shell. And one of those was in a natural shell that just had like a sticker applied to it. So that's not really, I mean, they put a sealant over it, but it wasn't like painted. So that one stayed in there. And then I have one, Pinky. She will not change that shell. She has been here over 2 years.
Wow.
And she just won't change. She's the one who lost a limb and regrew it. She had the jelly leg and then regrew it after her molt.
Right.
She will not change her shell. I don't know why, but she won't.
You don't know why?
I don't.
You don't think
Just
she's
I've
up there, have you?
I've given her a lot of talking to. We've had a lot of
She says her,
conversations.
everything.
She's got no insight for us. Sorry, Harlan. She just doesn't. Yeah.
She wouldn't be
Makes
stuck
you
in there,
ever
would
take the
she,
beer?
with the paint?
I don't think she's stuck because she's molted a couple times.
Okay.
And she's still in the same shell
Uh-huh.
after molding.
Yep.
Did she get any bigger?
She grew her leg back. I mean, she's not bigger enough that I'm like,
That
whoa,
she needs
you're
another
huge.
shell, right?
But I know she molted because she grew her leg back.
Okay, but she's not so crowded. She has to have a shell.
No, she's
Okay.
still. It was a decently fitted shell. I mean, she was back in it a little ways when she came, so she hasn't totally outgrown it yet. But she's holding that one, which thankfully it's one that's more like tinted than painted. So it's like it has like a pink shellac or something on it. Yeah, she's one of the only 2 or 3 that didn't immediately change. Yeah, when you give them a shell option, they're off.
Yeah. I know when I got George, he was in a now he's like this big. He was in a very small shell, and he was not in the tank 15 minutes before he changed shells. And he has never gone back. He never went back to the other one. He just changed shells, and that was that. Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to leave a painted shell for like 24 hours to give them a chance, just in case they like that shell better than what they picked, because a painted shell is better than no shell, which is how they ended up in a painted shell.
Yeah.
So I'll leave them in there for just a little bit, but I've got the cameras on. It's not like somebody's taking that painted shell. It just sits there. Like when someone gets out of a painted shell, it's abandoned. I could leave it for a week and nobody would get in this shell. They just don't want it. They have better options. So.
Allison, Brant, and Kelly Elder said hi.
Oh, cool.
Hi guys.
She loves your hat.
Oh, thank you.
Allison's from Canada.
Wow.
Yeah. She said it was just a little bit too far for her to drive this year.
I would think so.
Yeah.
It's hard enough for me, and she's got like double what I would have.
Allison drove down to Blacksburg last year.
Wow.
Yeah, for live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm only like 4.5 hours from there. But I still couldn't convince her. I couldn't convince you, Allison. Look what you're missing.
That cupcake was amazing.
Thank
That
you.
was so good. Wow. That was really good. So tell us about conservation efforts. What could all of us lowly people do to help the big conservationist efforts of you gurus?
I'm not a guru. I'm just a girl who convinced her husband to put in a giant jungle to take more
It's literally a joke.
Allison said, I'm driving to wherever you are next year, promise.
Next year's live.
Yeah.
Next year's in person. Of course she's coming.
Right. So how can we help? Like, I know I'm also part of the crustacean plantation with the treasurer, the local area representatives. To me, conservation effort would be like going to the local stores and maybe educating them on care. I know there's a flyer that you can hand out to them. We went and looked at shells locally yesterday and went in a conversation about the people that were trying to sell. And in one of their flyers or whatever they had posted, they said, give your crab a bath.
Ah.
And so we were talking to them about how that was like, they need to take that off the list, and that's something that you should never do. So it's just getting out there and educating. You go to a carny and you see people holding a crab. It's kind of hard because I tried that and they don't really want to talk, but if you can kind of work your way in and say, hey, if you ever have any questions, you can reach me, or you can go to this website or this Facebook. I know there's a big need for shells. And we can talk about the school program that you're in. I would love to hear more about that, because I don't have a whole lot of shells I can give out, but I've got a lot of other stuff that I don't have room in my tank for the mishmash bunch of stuff that I've got. And I've taken in a few rescues and they've given me some stuff. So Talk about your cause.
So, well, tomorrow we'll have a live for Claws in the Classroom with all the ins and outs and all the questions for that tomorrow. But like last year at the in-person CrabCon, people brought stuff specifically like item donations, and they
And
had.
I'm the one that started that off.
I love that. Love it, Sherry.
I don't know who, I can't remember who I messaged. If it was Mary. Anyway, I said, why, can we have a table? Can we have a table that people bring things they don't use anymore, that they're willing to just donate, not to sell, and just put them on the table? And you could see people just swapping stuff out. I got some things, people took my things, and it was a great addition. I really loved that. We need to do it again.
Yeah, that was an awesome thing to have for the in-person CrabCon.
Yes.
Was the swap table. And then there was also bins underneath the table if anybody wanted something to go specifically to Claws in the Classroom. And every now and again, I went on the swap table, sorry you guys, and snatched a few things and threw them in the Claws in the Classroom bin. But I also took a lot of things to donate, to share. But yeah, that's a good one. I think a lot of it is just being willing to talk to people and connect with people. I have my information at one of the local pet shops. Everybody can't take in tons of crabs. Everybody's not willing to have a crab room. There's no problem with people not having a crab room. Most people probably shouldn't have a crab room.
I want a crab room.
Well, most of the people watching here probably want a crab room, but you know, most people don't want a crab room. They just have a tank of crabs in their house. And those people, you have to meet them where they are, but still help them get their crabs good care. So being willing to share your phone number with people so that your phone rings and it's a stranger and you answer the call and you tell them about proper crab care. You send them the links. If they need help with something, you show up and help. I help Sherry move, and Sherry knows what she's doing with crabs. Other Sherry.
It's hard, so having help with moving is a big thing.
Yeah, it is. Like, she had movers coming for her stuff, but she's like, I'm stressing about my crabs. And I'm like, I got you. And so sometimes it's just being willing to be involved with people and make those connections. I've got my phone number at a local pet store that does not sell hermit crabs. It's a locally owned store. And every now and again, I get a call from someone that they're like, hey, I got your number. I'm looking to get rid of, looking to adopt, looking for whatever. I had a guy call me the other day who was looking for just shells. He's like, I don't know where to go to get bigger sized shells. They gave me your number. I figured you might, if you don't have them, you would know. And I checked what sizes he needed. I didn't have any on hand to like sell him or give him or whatever. So I sent him to a couple of the online shops and then one of the local stores. So, I mean, it's just a lot of conservation and assistance can be just networking and friendships made.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's not going to be willing to invite the whole internet to their house.
Like you did. I wish I could. Like you did. You invited the whole internet.
I invited the whole internet.
Darcy said just talking to other people or just talking between you and your kids, friends, family that are standing there. Others will overhear what you are saying. So I've been banned from doing that around my kids because if I start talking hermit crabs, it's like I can't stop. They're like, Mom, no, don't talk about that. But no, it's true. They may not ever say anything to you, but it might get them curious enough to research. That's what happened to us at the original beach shop when we started our journey. That's from Darcy. So yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. Like that really is just talking to people. And I'm not an outgoing person, which you can't tell from this live. I've been into the pitchy punch. I love everybody right now. But I'm usually not an outgoing person. I'm very much a wallflower. You know, I'm going to wait for other people to engage me until I see something out there that I'm like, well, let me just say one thing. And you can just calmly and politely, and politeness and kindness is the key. You're never going to get anywhere with conservation efforts if you're like, oh my gosh, a painted shell, you're a horrible person. Yeah. Now whoever has that painted shelled crab is just going to tuck it away and never try to do more. They're not going to reach out for more help from somebody. They're not going to look for more because they've been shamed. There's no need to shame somebody. We all didn't know what we don't know.
Right.
We started somewhere. So whatever.
Like you
What
can't
I love about CrabCon, whether it's live or virtual, You can talk
Thunder.
about crabs till you're blue in the face and nobody gets upset. Nobody's
Yes.
weird.
Yes.
Nobody's like, oh, rolling their eyes or anything. You can talk about crabs all day and
Yes.
it's great.
Except Harlan.
Except Harlan.
I don't roll my eyes anymore.
Thank you for not rolling your eyes, Harlan.
I've learned to stare directly.
Oh, there you go.
Directly
I
over your head.
look past the person.
Yeah. There was a whole crab talk last weekend at my son's birthday.
Yes. So the lady was because Jordan, who is our camera lady, she does cat rescue. And she was with one of the cat rescue ladies who they had started watching my crab rescue stuff because it's like mentally soothing to them to see someone else do some kind of rescue.
Allison said, I don't know, I sat next to you last year, Sherry. You never shut up, LOL. Allison.
Oh, yeah.
But she's so happy to have all these hermit crab friends. So yeah, I love that too. Colleen is a high school biology and honors biology teacher who was gifted hermit crabs from a student going to college. She'd love to be part of the school program. So
Yes.
when is the talk about that? Because I know you're going to share a lot about that.
Okay, so here's the thing. I was so stressed about the live. I'm not sure what time my Q&A tomorrow is, but tomorrow is the Q&A for it. But if you go to
Like on
like
the
the-
sessions.
Yeah, there's going to be a
Pouring
session,
out there.
live Q&A for it. But if you go apply, you go to the Lycos website and there is a Claws in the Classroom link. I am behind in answering and sending supplies. I apologize,
We're
everyone.
going to help her. We're going to get her there. Don't worry.
I got a lot going on in life, guys. But it's a great program and it will help it'll get you the links you need for all of their proper care, and it will send you supplies that are needed that you don't have for them. So hopefully you have some supplies. I hope they've got heat. Do they have some heat and humidity in the
She
meantime?
said, also sadly, the crabs that were cared for per pet store directions and one did not survive. The crab store directions are awful.
They are.
People just don't know.
Yeah.
She's looking to adopt more crabs and trying to figure that out in a very rural area. Suggestions about how to adopt. I don't want to support the pet store industry, but Larry needs friends. Just set up a 40-gallon tank and already looking to expand. She's hooked. I love that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well,
Welcome.
welcome. Woo! You are in the right place. Where is her rural location, does she say?
She did not say.
Okay.
She might write it though, now that
we-
she knows.
Lycos has an adoption program.
Maine. Oh,
Maine.
Maine is so pretty.
Oh. Do you want to go to Maine on your way home and drop her off?
Yeah, we could do that.
She has a bubbling saltwater and freshwater tank.
Good. So I don't personally know who's in Maine. Somebody might be in Maine. We have an adoption program as well, like Lycos does, that will get you connected with someone who's trying to rehome their pet crabs. So they may be close, they may not be close. Some people are willing to travel a long way, some people are not.
Yeah.
If Sherry's driving her RV to Maine,
I'll stop by here
Stop
and pick
by.
up some crabs and then take them to
That's a
Maine.
good idea, actually.
We could
I
go
bet an
around the
RV would be
country.
great in Maine.
you could do that. You
We could go
be
around the
my
country and just drop off crabs everywhere.
You know, I heard that the
Harlan, I love
foliage
it.
in Maine is absolutely beautiful. You
Thank
might want to do that anyway.
Hey, we'll pay you in love, Harlan. You were going there for vacation
Lots of love.
anyway.
Gonna take you to the store and trade it for a roast.
How about I send you with some hermit crabs and a roast?
So Randy said, the people that know me know I love crabs so much that the youth leaders bought me a shirt that says hanging with my Hermes. Yes, I like that. That's cute.
Nice.
But so I like crabs so much that when I started my own business, accounting business on May 4th of last year, which is like the worst time to start an accounting business because you're after tax season. So I wasn't riding the tax wave. I was riding the falling of the wave. But I was wanting a logo, and of course I picked a crab, and my parents were like, why in the world would you pick a crab? What does that have to do with accounting? And so me and a friend of mine came up with the tagline, we'll crunch the numbers while you grow your business.
Yes.
And so my mom was on board. She's like, oh yeah, I can see that. That's great. So you know what? You just live your passion and you incorporate it in your life, and people are going to notice and they're going to ask.
Yeah.
Going back to the conservation, it's just being yourself, honestly.
Mhm.
You're
I
not
talk to
hitting
anybody
somebody
I
over the
can.
head with a hammer. You're just loving them where they are.
Yeah.
I do get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And legs.
Me legs.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I was like,
So let's ask a question. What is your most embarrassing crab story?
I don't have one.
You don't have one? What's your craziest crab story then? It may not have been embarrassing.
Oh, gosh. I guess the craziest one was my 20-gallon tank with 1 crab, and Holly offered me a 40-gallon tank with 3 more crabs and delivered to North Carolina from Virginia.
You can't beat that. That's a good
And I
deal.
was like, done. Done. That was probably my craziest story. It was fabulous.
mine too. No.
Yeah. We got a little less in the house. One of your crazy. We keep a stockpile of extra tanks in the garage because I'm on so many local mom groups, free groups, pet rehome groups, and then a lot of people who were looking to rehome their crab. If I had a larger tank, I'm like, hey, would you take a 20-gallon instead of a critter keeper? Would you take a 40-gallon instead of a 10-gallon? And I upgrade them and their current crabs because they all have too many crabs. They're in this, they're in a critter keeper. Some of them have a 10-gallon, but they've all got too many crabs in it, and just get them, upgrade them as I can. We've got a couple local friends that they couldn't make it today, but Brooke and they were so exciting. So I met her on a mom's group, and she had posted a picture. She's like, guys, y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but we got these hermit crabs, and I'm just in love with them. Does anybody know how to take care of them? I just want to do the best I can for my pets. I was like, I got you, stranger on the internet. And so me and her connected, and I gave her all the links, and she just took it and ran with it. I offered them a 55. They picked it up, and then her husband got building some things to go in it, because then he was researching like the foam backgrounds and all that, like reptile stuff, and he was in love with that. So they actually brought me the 55 back and went and bought a 75 to upgrade to that, and so they could build the stuff to go in it, and they are doing good stuff with them. So then from her original 2 or 3, I adopted her a few more because she has a good setup, and it's just connecting with people. Everybody doesn't have a garage full of tanks. If you can't do that, don't feel inferior. Like just the information is great to share, and then people are responsible for their own. Because there's other people who contact me for stuff that I don't offer them a tank because I know the neighborhood you live in, and I feel that you have the resources to do that yourself. You just don't want to.
Right. Like me.
To answer Tanya's question, because she came in a little bit late, the bowl of painted crab shells are all the rescues that they had taken in that switched shells.
Yep. Every one of these is.
It's probably, 40 shells in there or something?
Oh, yeah.
We don't need to count how many crabs are in the crab room.
I have the crabs that I have.
Allison said,
We don't
speaking of that,
necessarily.
Allison's crazy story, telling people after her vacation last year that she went to Virginia and came back with crabs.
I hate when that happens.
That's awesome.
It's like whenever I bring rose petals to you and I'm like, oh, these are just for Holly's crabs.
Yes. So at Bible study one week, Jordan, our camera lady, brought me a whole pack of rose petals because she has lovely roses that are pesticide free, and I don't have that. And so everybody in group just kept looking at us all weird the whole Bible study. And at the end, they were finally like, are you and Rob going on vacation together, having a romantic time? What's with the rose petals?
Heavy.
Just for my crabs.
Everything's just for the crabs.
Supposed to be good for your
craziest time was last year trying to be the isopod and having people guess.
Oh my gosh.
And so you guys may not know this, but I'm not exactly extroverted. You guys, we were talking about this last night. I'm an extroverted introvert. And I had to get that way when I started the business. I did stay in my shell, and I put all my little accounting eggs in one basket, and that basket stopped producing leads. So I was literally laying on my office floor like, okay, I'm going to have to get a job because this thing isn't going to work. My husband, who is definitely extroverted, said, get up. We printed flyers, we printed business cards, and we just walked around and started talking to people, and it just sprung off from there. But since then, I have had to expand out of my comfort zone and like really talk to people and do a lot of networking. It's really paid off. But I'm finding that I have to get alone to recharge after a while because I will get overwhelmed and I'll just start shutting down. And when I hit a wall, I know I've hit my wall, But I also really love people. And, I love the good energy I can feel from them and just being there to help them out. And that's probably the best part of the business. And honestly, the best part of CrabCon for me is all of the real people. There's no fakes in this group. Everybody's real. They're heartfelt.
And
they care. They are so accepting. Like, it doesn't matter what you're going through. They're like there for you. And so anyway, that's why I would have never done that anywhere else ever. But the crab story, when I was a kid, and I didn't know anything about crab care. And we were talking about this yesterday. I didn't know anything about crab care. So I had 4 crabs and I lived in Chicago area. So it's not exactly Florida. There's not much heat and humidity up there. So my birthday's April 30th. So it wasn't a terrible part of the year, thankfully. But I had a birthday party. And we were taking the crabs out of the tank to play with them. Bad girl. Well, I didn't know any better. So we took all the crabs out, and then I got bored. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go downstairs. Make sure you put the crabs back when you're done with them. I said to my friends, and I left. I just left. And so none of them, of course, put them away because they didn't feel that comfortable as I might have about handling them, because I used to let them walk on my hands all the time. One of them pinched me, but that's another story. So we found one in my pile of stuffed animals. I found one in my ballet slippers in the corner. My dad almost literally stepped on one walking down the hallway. But the 4th one named Trouble was never found. My mom said later, years and years later, she said before we moved, later the next year, she was scouring the house trying to find any remnants of Trouble, but she could not find him anywhere or the shell or anything. So
it's reported he's still causing issues in the Chicago area.
I was gonna say the thunder and the lights flashing really added to the story.
It's out there. Trouble is out there, making lives difficult.
Maybe he's the crab that we saw earlier on the Maryland video that was huge and stomping the city.
Yes, I love that one. That was so cute. That was so awesome. So, how have your kids participated in your family? And you can put that in there because you're an honorary member.
Yeah.
Okay.
How have you participated?
How have you participated, Blair?
Honestly, obviously, so of course, they're subscribing to my aunt, but basically learned about hermit crabs and I was just seeing what her hermit crab will like. Even though I can't have a hermit crab, maybe we'll like one in the future. So just watching my aunt do her stuff.
That's cool.
That is cool. Yeah. She's been super, super helpful this whole weekend.
Very
honestly.
helpful. Yes.
Always asking to help.
I could not have got done with it without Blair keeping me sane.
And focused.
Yes.
Yeah, she did. She's like, ask this question. So she's keeping us focused.
Yep.
I love it.
But yeah, the kids wanted the pets. They wanted a new pet. I love pets. So that's how we started researching to find another pet. And initially the kids were super excited. They still like to feed them. Yeah. But because it's a hands-off pet, and you don't really do anything with them, and they disappear for a long time, and they're nocturnal, and we only have a few day walkers. And so, they're very excited when we see one of them out, but they're not really a kid's pet, which is so ironic because they're marketed as to children. Oh, get this pet. It's so cool. And you're like, no, the only way it's fun for a kid is if you leave it in the death trap so that it's constantly moving and doing stuff looking for safety that it's never going to find, which is not good for the crab.
Do you want to show them how you make a crab out of the painted shells? I think that'd be cool. Speaking of,
go grab a pipe cleaner.
Yeah.
You see some of your crabs.
These are so creative.
These kids are. What do we got here?
So I will say, when I had the big flooding in my tank, I had to call my son to help me because I just couldn't face it alone, and that was very, very, very gruesome. He helped me during the worst of it, scooping the sand and trying to find whatever we could. But I don't think he'll be helping me there anymore.
Okay.
But I appreciate it.
All right,
There we are. Okay, can you see it? We may have to move.
You might have to take it, Holly.
We've got a craft tutorial going on here.
Oh, wait, she came over here.
Oh, where are you going? All right.
I think I might need the scissors.
Blair, can you grab the scissors in case she needs them? Don't run with scissors though. Rose is my super crafter.
I need to wait for the scissors.
Okay. Was it going to go in far enough?
Oh, good. I got a good view of it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see pretty good.
All right.
See if you can get a little closer.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Allison said my girls will be in the Kids Say the Crappiest Things presentation tomorrow. They are really
Awesome.
fascinated by the crabs when they could see them.
Awesome.
I like that. Kids Say the Crappiest Things.
I submitted. I don't know if they got in or not. Who knows?
Oh.
I haven't seen it yet.
That's why I'm waiting
Right.
for tomorrow. That's why I want to say tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to watch that tomorrow. You got it? Did you make one? Look at that. And now we have a hermit crab in a painted shell that is not a bad thing. Whoop, wait, which way do I turn the camera?
Yeah, it's flipped. So it's
Yeah, that is flipped. Wow. Sorry, everybody.
That's been a lot of struggle trying to film everything. I do have a question.
What? What's your question, Blair?
So if someone wants to get into hermit crabs, what do you like? If someone wants to get into hermit crabs, like, what would you say to them if they want to get into hermit crabs?
If someone wants to get into hermit crabs, what would I say to them? First off, are you sure? Because it is
That's
a
an
little
ominous start.
It can be a bit of a lifestyle change. Just asking them the questions of how many crabs do you want? What kind of enclosure do you have?
Do you have hundreds of dollars?
Yes. Like, are you prepared for that?
They're more down.
Here's some links to read. Read these, and if you still want crabs, contact me back. Because I get a lot of people who want to adopt crabs or already have crabs and want more. And when we go through the stuff, they're not all approved through the Lycos adoption program, but they contact me, and I require the same thing as the Lycos adoption program, except I also add a video tour of the tank on live, because I had someone send me a tank that I knew was not their tank. I knew whose tank it was. And I'm like, that's not your tank.
Oh,
Yeah.
sneaky.
Wow. So they usually have too many crabs in their current tank, and they may or may not know all the ins and outs. They might still be feeding pellet food. So you just go through what they need.
I like that live idea.
Mhm.
So Holly.
Yeah.
What would you like to do if time and money and expertise weren't a factor with crabs? And it could be travel, crab-a-tot, it could be anything.
Okay. Is my husband here? He's not.
He's not here.
He's not here, you guys.
What
Nobody
happens in
tell him.
CrabCon
Okay.
stays in CrabCon.
The detached garage. I want to make a walk-in crab enclosure, which was my initial plan with the tent living, would be a walk-in crab-a-tat. But when we put the tent in the crab room, the walk-in size just blocked all the sunlight, and the room was just there, and we still had to live in our house. So we couldn't.
So inconvenient.
Isn't it awful? It's not the crab's house. So I couldn't use the big tent in there. We had to go with the narrower one. It was going to be 5 feet deep, but now it's just 3 feet deep. Just 3 feet deep. So I would want to take a quadrant of the detached garage and seal it in and make a walk-in crab-a-tat, big koi pond, chairs.
yeah.
We can go sit in the jungle. Like, everybody can come over, throw on some flip-flops and a tank top in the summer and go sit in the heat with the crabs.
I'll be over.
They want to know where you got that love shirt from, by the way.
This was designed by our camera woman, Jordan. She makes.
Hey, you're gonna have to hold that for Jordan so she can do the next
That's okay.
She makes my crab shirts. She made Rose's cello. Show them your cello.
And I've got this on.
Yep.
Are you selling them?
I mean, I can. I don't have them listed anywhere, but
Why not?
Send me a PM.
I just
Send a message to Holly, she'll hook you up.
I was gonna say I just make whatever Holly asks me to.
Such a good friend. Yeah, and she also made the cupcakes. So Jordan is a very versatile friend to have. Everybody needs a Jordan.
So Jordan, what would you do?
I mean, I wanted to convert my whole garage into a cat foster house. It was going to be 2 stories with like a big loft. Working on it. My husband agreed to it, quote unquote, and then hasn't done anything to start that process. But my sister also put all of her furniture in my detached garage and then moved to Greece. And she's come back since then, but hasn't gotten all of her stuff out of my garage yet. So it's kind of in a limbo state until Tara Thomas of Virginia Beach gets her stuff out of my garage.
Allison said Holly should ask you to make a bunch to sell at next year's in-person craft.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that a little bit, but
And
haven't.
Wendy wants one.
Okay. Yeah, we got
Let
you.
me know.
Jordan's got a whole new side business. This can pay for
Hey,
the
I
cat
can help you
rescue.
with their side
Perfect.
business on the bookkeeping and stuff too. So
Sounds
I got
great.
you there.
See, networking is important.
Okay. All right,
I can
what
do
about
any
you?
color.
What would you do?
Oh my gosh. I would like to get as many crabs as
I know what that.
I'd like to get as many crabs as I could until I'm satisfied, which is of course an impossibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just,
You could have like a sub trailer just for them.
oh, there you go. I have a she shed. Oh my gosh.
That's right.
A crab shed.
So that's what my friend that's in cat rescue, she has a shed in her backyard that's the catty shack. So it could be the crabby shack.
Yeah. Except it's too far from the house. So,
Such a shame.
I know.
Her husband ran electricity.
I have electricity
see?
in mine, yes.
You can make
Well,
it
then
work.
how is it too far from the house?
Because it's a ways. I have to use a
'Cause
golf cart.
Because you got to
Oh.
walk.
Yeah, of course
Oh
it's
my
still
gosh.
fun though. I love a good golf cart.
Yeah, yeah. I can carry stuff in the back of it, so you know,
There you go.
I can take care of that.
You can do it. You can do it. Do you have a story?
No.
Nope.
Mr. Harlan, what would you do about hermit crabs if you could do anything with or without?
And money is not a factor.
Well, it's not a factor.
Okay.
Just ask her. I do have a question. For somebody who wants to get into crabs,
Yes.
how many crabs per gallon
So it's
would you recommend? I know the differences are here, there, whatever.
right. There's a little wiggle room, but the basic rule of thumb is 1 crab per 10 gallons.
Unless they're huge.
Right. Once you hit jumbo size, then you need 15 per gallon. But by then they're so big and you will have had them for so long, you will give them anything because you love them. They are family.
And because they need the molt space, we're not talking 10 gallons like here's 10 gallons.
Yeah.
They need 10 gallons of molt space.
Right. So that's also like if the tank is taller but narrower, that's not the same as, so a 55 is 4 feet long. But if you get a 55 tall, instead of 5, you probably should only put like 4 in there because it's going to be narrower. It's only going to be about 3 feet wide. You want that one?
If I could do anything, I want to go to Taiwan and Indonesia and see the crabs, and I want to see what their conservation efforts are. And yeah, I want to go look at a blueberry in person. I want to see them.
You want to go
like
visit Sean
out there
Miller?
in the wild.
You want to see if Sean will take you on a tour?
I would.
of
I would
Japan?
be so cool. I would be so. Well, see, my stepson speaks Japanese, and he's been wanting to go. Yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah, he could speak for us.
There you go. You can
I
take your
know.
shells in person.
That'd
Well,
be
because
so
you went to
cool.
Crab Station Plantation, didn't you?
I did. I'm going back. We have a
Oh, I'd
board
like to
meeting
do that.
in November. We have a board meeting every year.
They're in Key
So that's
West.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Keys.
I have to go to the Florida
Big
Keys
vacation.
every year for a board meeting. I love this every year. My whole year is so around it. Hey Rob, what would you do if money was not a factor with hermit crabs?
What?
If you could do anything, it could be travel, it could be crab habitat, it could be anything. What would you do? You have tons of money.
What are you thinking?
Something that doesn't make somebody upset.
Would you
Then
want?
I'd probably move to like Florida where they could be more in a natural environment. Yeah.
For my indoor-outdoor crab habitat that I wanted if we retired to Florida.
Yeah, versus having to manage everything inside. I think it'd be a lot easier just to.
If they moved out of the house.
This is a what if. We're not at that what if thing.
Well, I am enjoying this so much, but it's 12:59
Oh,
and the main
next
stage is
session.
on in 1 minute.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to regroup.
I'm gonna let you all go. This was
Anybody
so
have any
fun.
parting thoughts before this session closes?
Oh, you should talk about things.
How about you, Holly?
Make
What about the
crab
magazine?
friends. Invite people.
Come
Find the
next
milepost.
time. Oh yeah, look
The
at
Outer
that.
Banks milepost. This is the magazine that Mary had her article in, or well, a bunch of people had the article, helped with it. But yeah, that was from the Outer Banks. We're near the Outer Banks.
We'll see you in 2 years. Here, right?
Come here. You can come here. I invite everyone from the internet.
Into our house.